Hey, it worked this time. I am live. What's happening, folks? I wanted to come. I feel like I had to pull an emergency live because of the reviews that came out from Hobotech and Prowse. So I wanted to talk with you guys. I'm no expert. I watched them just like you guys watched them. So I'm looking for your feedback, your thoughts, and your input. So the real question is, did they sway me? And did they sway you if you were thinking about it? Did they make you lean one way or the other? Oh, little housekeeping first. I worked very hard to get this live going. I'm using my computer. My computer is not as reliable as my wife's. It is like 10 plus years old. So how does the audio sound? I think I took care of the whole like peaking, brash, abrasive, chalky sound.
Excuse me, Daddy.
What's up?
So we like to watch me play Monster Jam just like I was doing last time.
Do you think I would like to watch you play Monster Jam right now, buddy?
I mean, after you record the video.
Okay, I'll be recording for a little bit. Maybe after, okay? Sounds good. Sounds good. Joe Tyson, what's happening? Super. I haven't seen you in a while. What's happening? Alpha, what's good? K-Cell, wow, you came on just as I'm watching Will's video. Well, I'm flattered by that because that means you left Will's video. Will's video was good. I enjoyed it. Thoroughly. Man, I worked hard to get this live. Oh, man. Hey, Kathy. I know Ulysses was in here earlier. I don't know if he's in here now. But he left a comment earlier in the day. Candace L, what's happening? Thank you, guys. I'm glad it sounds good. I left Alaskan Peppers live. Oh, really? What's Alaskan Peppers? I don't think I watched that one. I watched a lot of the Alaskan shows, but not that one. Hey, CJ. Caldria, what's happening? So, I have watched Will and Hobotech's videos like 3 times today, just to kind of make sure I understand. And I still don't fully understand everything Hobotech was talking about. It's like sometimes I can't grasp it. It's too much. I need to be able to physically put my hands on the product and test it. They have all of these accessories and so on and so forth. It was a bit much. It was a bit much. Child of God, what's happening? I'm doing okay. I'm hot. I was holding the baby up until like the absolute last minute while my wife was napping. She did not look happy for me to awaken her, but I had to. Well, I'd like to believe that I have to. She may tell a different story. She may join us later. I don't know if you guys read the description. All right. So typically how this works, we jump on. I'll let you guys know what I'm talking about. We kind of say our hellos. And what I found is we kind of get into the content about 4 minutes in. So, buckle up, I suppose. Southern Boy, Northern Living. How's it sound to you, my friend? Because I know you have an ear. Not that all y'all other ears are not valid, but I just know he heard what I heard. Hey, Heather. Dominique, what's happening? I watched Hobotech's review, but I also read reviews from people who bought stuff based on his reviews and weren't happy. Interesting. And that's what this no, it can't be related to the AC300, AC200, because it's not out yet. You're just speaking in general, I suppose. Thank you, brother. CJ, I watched both as well, and the professor's video got me hyped for the AC200 Max, even after Will's disclaimer. I want to talk about Will's disclaimer. I got some notes around here somewhere. Wayne, what's happening, man? Good to see you. Will's video was more easily digestible for me in like my busyness of the day. Hobotech was a little bit harder for me to grasp and pay attention to because today was a work day. I couldn't give it as much attention as I wanted to. Joe Tyson says, I haven't watched Will's review yet. Yeah, okay. Ulysses, for the money, I think it's all in unless you need all those batteries. Yeah, it's a good device. I didn't come away swayed from their reviews. All right, all right, all right. So, excuse me. So Will talked about from his bad portion. He talked about okay. The AC200 Max. The pre-orders go live tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and 7 Pacific, whatever it stands for time. I feel like that's super late, but whatever. Um, I do intend to buy one tonight. I'm going to try to buy one. I'm not going to buy anything else but that. I'm not into the batteries. I've never been into the batteries. I'm more of a buy two devices kind of guy. Um, which is interesting because I don't know if anybody talked about how much that DC battery charger with the MC4 cables cost. I wonder how much that cost. Is it because if you buy the extra battery and the little DC adapter is what, $300? I feel like you might as well get a whole nother device. Just further proving my point. Further proving my point of two devices is better than one in a battery in most situations. I tried to think about it, but I couldn't come up with anything. Let me make sure my comments setting is on the 139. That's pretty good. Thanks, Wayne. Wayne be in the loop, man. Why would it have me on top chat in my own live? It's just silly. All right. The expansion packs. Will made a good point that the solar does not wake those packs up in the morning when you start charging again. I think that's awful. That's pretty bad. That's pretty bad. I don't even know how would you fix that in software. I'm sure, I'm no engineer or software designer, but they have these push buttons on them. And I don't think those push buttons are a hard on off switch. I think they're like something else. So then how can you tell that those batteries to turn on if, okay, cool. If they're not on already, I'm not sure how they're going to fix that. Hey, 2%, what's happening? Shah Sahabi is asking 139 for the battery and the charger. Of course not, Shah. Of course not. Just the charger, the adapter. Alpha, you just satisfied my nervousness when you said you will try to get the AC200 Max tonight. Yeah, I'm going to try and get it. Hopefully I can get it. If I don't, it's fine. Now, the real question is whether or not I would pay $2,100 for it, and I don't think so. Ivan, Daddy's busy, okay? If you need something, go ask Mommy, all right?
But I can't ask Maya about this because she's going to be angry about it.
Okay, well, that's just what you're going to have to deal with. Maybe you shouldn't be asking it if Mommy's going to be angry about it. Go back downstairs, man. Dean, what's happening? 2% says just doing some cleaning and watching you make this a long video. I don't think my wife would be happy about that, especially since I was out here for almost 2 hours yesterday. Heather says, I'm glad to hear your take as I've been holding off on this purchase. Ouch. The 2 battery plan does seem expensive. Can y'all hear me over that? But I've got 2 Harbor Freight 100 watt, 24 volt panels, thinking of getting a third, mixed emotions. Interesting. It will be cool to hear the wife's side and opinion. Kids know Mommy will say no. So let's ask Daddy. Don't put that in here, CJ. Don't bring that. That is kind of true, but don't do that. Don't do that. Mommy is a little more hardcore than Daddy, but Daddy's no pushover either. So some quick observations. Will talked about the batteries and how he wasn't really feeling the batteries, and I agree with that. I have different reasons than him. he didn't really state why he wasn't feeling them. He talked about the things not turning on, but he was more impressed with the standalone unit than the external batteries. He didn't like the way the cables were set up. He didn't like that there was no stacking kind of thing to it. They just kind of sit on top of each other. I would never stack them on top of each other like that. If I had two expansion batteries, I would probably stack those on top of each other and put them like behind the Bluetti. I wouldn't have put two and two and then one on top. But it makes it easier to reach, I guess, for recording. Welcome, Gigi. 24 Carrera. Are they going to send an email out to us that put our name on the pre-order on the site? It says it's out of stock. So that's common. The out of stock thing is, they did the same thing last time with the EV70. You will not be able to do anything until it actually goes live. So I think that's just so they can have this stuff up and you can look at it and see the details, but they don't have to publish pages when they go live. So that's what I think that approach is about. Will got 88% out of his AC test. That makes me feel a lot better than Hobotech's 81%. I know Hobotech uses his little fan doohickey. So I'm hoping that when I use it, and I use it for just normal stuff, I get around the 88%, which is interesting because David Paz, I watched his review of the AC200P recently, and he's very much like a, I want to say nerd. That's the word that came to mind, but he's very like technically driven. And he got about 80 some odd, high 80s, maybe even 90% efficiency out of that AC200P. So hopefully that's what I get if I get it. Hopefully that's what everybody gets if they buy the device. The big takeaway from Will's video was his warning. His thing of wait the 3 to 6 months before the device, after the devices come out, and then decide. I don't agree with that. Here's the reason why. I don't pretend to understand him. I don't know him personally, but I can deduce why that's important to him is because you don't want to have any problems with that device if it's your main power source, if you're using it for something important. A lot of his, I would dare say, a good bit of his followers are like the mobile friendly crowd. He never really talks about homeowners when he talks about, hey, this thing will be good for like RVers or maybe a small cabin or something like that, but I wouldn't use it for being in a home, so on and so forth. So I think that's really important to him. But my thing is, it has the ability, it has the app, which is a great addition. Hobotech mentioned that the app is Bluetooth. I saw Bluetooth somewhere as well. I like that it's Bluetooth because Wi-Fi just gets weird. And what I mean by that, let me quantify that. When you have to use Wi-Fi to connect it to a device, it takes you off of your internet and you're only connected to that device. Your phone and that device essentially form a local network. And you don't have internet anymore unless you have data on your phone. And I'm not even sure that a lot of phones allow data to continue to work if the Wi-Fi is not working. But we're getting into some IT, like technical stuff. But I just want you to know about that. So Bluetooth is a lot better because it's short range. You connect directly to the device. You don't have to worry about all of that. The reason why I bring that up is because the firmware is upgradable. You guys let me know, was the AC200 or the AC200P, those who own it, were you able to upgrade firmware in any capacity to that device? CJ says, problem with waiting is the price increases. For people on a limited budget, you have to take a chance and get it while the price is right. I agree with that. Dominique won't be purchasing one, but looking forward to hearing what people think. Can't part with that much money right now. I dig that. Shoot. What's going on, Broke Farmer? You dropped to 73. What happened? Tell me about that at some point. Yeah, I'm not paying regular price. $20.99 is not. I'll wait a whole nother year for something to come out on Kickstarter And then I'll have my 2 grand lined up and I'll just go with that. And then the odds for me is I'll have a more popular YouTube channel. So that may get me some benefits as well. So it's like, if I can get it right now, I'm trying to get it right now because I like the sense of security that it gives me should anything happen. And I also want to be able to use it before anything happens. But I'm also okay with waiting as well. So back to this idea of the firmware, any software issues that they have, they can fix. So I'm not concerned. I'd rather save that $400 and deal with a couple things. For me, it's like not as pressing. And for most people, it's not really going to matter. It'll suck if you have a serious issue, but then there's warranties for that. So it's like I didn't find I didn't find myself concerned about the device having problems because it was an initial release. I'm not concerned. Mita says, I am debating if I should get 2 500-watt-hour batteries. Let me swing back to that. So just overall, I think saving the money is more important than waiting for a more refined product because the hardware is hopefully going to be there. I'm sorry, excuse me. Now, the question is, do they have time to make changes? Like, will that button and not turning on be addressed by the time they get sent to you? Because you're not going to be getting it immediately. So I wonder about that. Like, will it go back and kind of change some things before you get your device? I can't imagine that they would allow that to ride. That's a terrible idea that those expansion batteries don't turn on. Maybe they'll push out the expansion batteries being delivered and fix those and then send people their main units to preserve that problem being an issue. Because it costs money to send those batteries back. And I'm sure they don't pass that cost on to the customer if something is wrong. But what if you just don't like something, the fact that it doesn't turn on? What if you didn't watch Will's review? Be kind of silly if you didn't and you still bought it. But, I guess some people out there will do that. So, yeah, I'm not concerned. So that's good enough for me. I want to save the money and get the device. They can fix it later. I have other power stations. You can't miss what you barely had anyway. So the only person, I did think about this, the only person that I would suggest that they wait is if it's somebody like the Truly lady, and somebody else said they were moving over to like their sister's property and they were going to be like building and stuff like that. If this is your first device, right? And you're going to need that device to perform like a champ, I wouldn't buy this device right now. I would wait the time for them to get it right, because there's nothing worse than getting a device and having a problem with it and not being able to use it. So, take that. Hey, Miss Queen. I wouldn't quite consider you late. You're doing all right. K-Cell, Child of God Bluetti is actually really good with their warranty. Well, that's good to hear. K-Cell says, I have more fun and hands-on experience building my own system other than those portable power boxes. I know all the ins and outs of the system I designed. And for the price of one of those boxes, I'm assuming you're saying you could kind of just do your own thing. I dig that. I don't want to do my own thing. Most people don't want to do it. Most people don't have the know-how to do it. I mean, for the most part, we all have the capacity to do it. But I'm not into it. And I don't like wires being all over the place. But I'm glad you're into it and you save money by doing it. That's what's up. Black Plumber, what's happening? I never buy the initial rollout of a new device. There's always bugs. Yeah, that's true. But what's a bug that can't be fixed by a firmware update? I don't know that I care. And I'm really picky about that. I am. I don't want the initial product. But to save that coin, I'm willing to take the risk. And then it could be okay. So it's cool with me. Asus Tech, that's it's the Asus. Will only had a problem with just the unit with the blank screen. He did talk about that. And that's kind of linked to this whole idea of freaking bees. That's actually a bee. It's not a wasp. That's linked to this idea of they'll fix it. It's okay. I wake up one morning and I'm expecting solar to come into my AC 200 max, and it's not. That would suck, but I'll give you a real world example. My EcoFlow River, because I got it for $20 cheaper than the normal sale price. I got it for $280. It was typically riding at $299. I did not want to return that thing because I saved $20. You think I'm gonna be picky about saving $400? Like, nah, we gonna ride. I'm not gonna necessarily convey that to them. I want you to fix it, but I'm okay. I'll work with you. Let's get it fixed up. Sending my EcoFlow River back sucked. But again, I had other power stations. If it's your main power station, then you may want to wait. You may want to wait. CJ says, I suspect the firmware is there because we have to think the AC300 has no internal battery, which means when the solar hits the AC300, it will charge the batteries straight away. That's interesting. That's interesting. Where is Mita 42? I'm debating if I should get two 500 watt hour batteries or one 1000 watt hour battery. Mita, I'm big on there are some variables there. It does depend on your needs, because when you get into a space of a 500 watt hour battery and a 1000, that's a little tricky, because 9 times out of 10 your 500 watt hour battery will have like a 500 watt inverter. So there's not a whole lot you could run that's heavy duty on that thing. Whereas like if you got a 1000 watt hour battery, the odds are that will have a 1000 watt inverter and you have a little more room. But I'm typically a 2 separate is better than 1 in one spot. But I don't know, you could be in an apartment, you know what I mean? You could be in a room. This is the bad part about being out during this time, is the all the creatures are like trying to settle in. Does that answer your question, Mita? Do you have a follow-up question? What's going on, Ben? Everything? What's happening? You're probably better off getting LiPo 24-volt batteries. Child of God says hooking those up in series to any Bluetti. Yeah, it's like I'm not in that bunch. That's not something. You buy a power station for ease and simplicity. You don't buy it to get the absolute best bang for your buck or to have it be super customizable and all that jazz. Ascot Solar is right in the banner, like simple solar. Montenegro, what's happening? The number one thing I want to run are my refrigerator and internet if I have a power outage. Are your refrigerator and your internet close by, Mita? CJ says, I have faith that the Bluetti can update the firmware on the AC200 Max at the very least. Will the two older AC200 models, okay, they made, I'm going to add, whereas the two older AC200 models may not be able to handle it. Okay, wow, not. Okay. Paycheck, what's happening? Glad to see you, sir. Sir, sorry. I can't break it. I'll do my best. All right, let's see here. Okay. Now, the Hobotech video, he ultimately came away feeling very positive about the device. He also talked about Jackery for, like, I think he said Bluetti's running circles around Jackery. He came away with a very good impression. He had his cons. Those cons didn't necessarily matter to me. I'm trying to remember, what did he talk about? He talked about them increasing something. Will also talked about the charging of the full system if you had the 2 expansion batteries. That doesn't apply to me, so I don't really care. But his whole point was that I think the charging input of 900 watts and maybe even the 1400 watts, I don't know if he took that into consideration because he didn't mention it, but 900 watts going into a 2000 watt hour battery along with 2 more batteries is not really a good pairing. But he was like, then you can buy the device and charge the other things separate, and then you have separate panel arrays and all that jazz. It just becomes a wired mess. And I tend to agree with that. I don't know if 900 watts is enough to satisfy the power that that thing can hold in it. I'm just not sure. You imagine you're going to be using some of that power as well. You would almost have to do the 1400 watts. And when I say 1400 watts, when Hobotech says 1400 watts, you're not going to get that by just buying 1400 watts of panels. You have to over panel it, or you have to provide more wattage into it than it can take. So even throwing around that number is almost like, it's almost for the elite of people who will spend the most money, have the most space to line up the most panels to be able to accomplish what it is that they accomplish to get that 900 watts and to get that 1400 watts. So that's something we have to think about as well. Dominique says, same, I just want to run a deep freezer in the refrigerator. I dig that. Jason Noy, what's happening? Thanks for stopping by real quick. I hope I pick one up tonight too. Thank you. Murder wasp and killer bees. Man, I saw one about the Asian murder hornet, and I was just like, yikes. Somebody posted it in a group, and they had actually seen one of them. And I think they were tracking it, and it's just like a whole thing. Paycheck says a lot of extra money as well for the batteries, or just that whole achieving the full 900 watts, 1400 watts and all that jazz. Realistically, most people who get that, I mean, what are you going to have? Like maybe like 4 panels? I can't imagine people dumping a whole 900 watts into that device. That just seems unrealistic to me. Unless you're like on a homestead and, you know, this is like your power source. You're really trying to get it popping. At most, I'm hoping to push like 600 watts into it. And that's going to be quite the accomplishment. And that's not 600 watts going into it. That's 600 watts of panels. I talked about this in another video. You're only going to get about 480 or something like that. It's like 80% output, 20% of 600, you know, what, 65, 40, 480. So 480 watts off a 600 watt panel array. You'd almost have to put like maybe 1200 watts of panels on that dip to get the 900 watts. So, you know, hey, Stacy, what's happening? What did you think of Will's term over paneling? Great way to explain how stacking panels doesn't damage power. Now, the word he used is current. I don't fully understand the term current. I haven't given the time to it, but the idea of over paneling in simple terms is that as long as you don't exceed that voltage of like 145, I think is what it is. And the way in which you would exceed that voltage is if you put too many panels in series, or let's just keep it simple at that. If you stay within the voltage range, you can put more panels totaling more watts than the device can take in, but that device will only take in what it needs from those panels. So if you toss, like, I don't want to say a number because I don't want you guys to go out and think that number is good. But if you put like 1200 watts of panels on it, it will never get more than 900 because it's limited in some capacity. Jason, or you let me know if that tracks. CJ says, Bluetti's initial aim with these 2 modular models is the Powerwall crowd. That's interesting. I thought about that, but I don't know. I think it's for people who like the idea of the Powerwall and want to have that much power. Because the Powerwall is a different thing. The Powerwall feeds your home. This thing powers stuff. And the Pro I can see being like a real Powerwall replacement system, because if you get 2 of those, they have that panel you can put together and like link into your house. I don't think the AC200 has that capability. Okay, Jason Noy says, awesome explanation. Just remember the basic equation, volts times amps. So is the amps the current? You put the current in parentheses. If it's just that simple, if amps are the current, when Will says current, he means amps, then I understand it completely. So if that device has a 15 amp input limit, voltage is electromotive force. You can overvolt, but not over current. Okay. All right. So if amps is current, and then Will says you can over panel it, but the device will limit the current coming in, and that means it'll limit the amps. And I think the amps are limited at 15. I believe I heard Hobotech say that. Then that's where it cuts it off. So like think about it like this. Series combines the voltage, but the amps stay the same. So if you throw 7 100 watt Renogy, HQST, Mighty Max, Grape Solar, whatever, into a series chain, which is connecting panel to panel. We need to talk about series and parallel in a second. We'll get to that because I omitted something that's very important for you guys to consider. 7 times 20 is what, 140? So that's 140 volts, right? But the amps didn't go up at all because you put them in series. Series combines the voltage and the amps stay the same. So you got 700 possible watts at 140 volts going into the AC200 max, but it's not a problem. Will, what's happening? It's not a problem because the amps are still 5.5 amps. So that's where I'm going to get into trouble with trying to put panels in series and trying to put 2 100 watt panels in parallel, because that parallel connection is going to bump my amps up. So I have to think about that very seriously. And I'm probably only going to think about it when I have the device, if I get the device and I'm sitting there looking at the panels and I have to do math. So it's kind of tough. It's kind of tough. Will, what's happening, man? Good to see you. I mentioned you so much in these streams. I'm glad you made it over. Let's see here. Let's see here. So Gary says, what's up, Gary? 15 amps. So I think I'm going to find, if I put 2 100 watt panels in parallel, right? And then that string I put into series, both of those 2 100 watt panels in parallel, I feel like I'm going to get into trouble with that. So bam, 2 panels, double the amps. That gets me up to 10 amps. And then those other 2 panels, okay, cool. That should be fine because I doubled the amps to 10 and then I put both of those into series. So then the voltage of those panels is going to jump and the amps are going to stay at 10 amps. Boom. Problem solved, I think. Don't quote me on that. Will says, I just connected my B300 to an array 10 minutes ago. It's massive. The B300 is the one that works with the AC200, right? Oh, let me tell y'all this. I think the next thing that Bluetti is going to do is they're going to come out with a Titan or Energy Flex type of device. Like an actual, the top module. I know the B300 is kind of that. But I wonder if they're going to come out with something that stacks and clamps and cleans up all those wires like Will was talking about and has it all internal. Because Wayne sent me an image that said they weren't done with their devices that they have coming out. They had something like Dominator or something like that. So I think that's what they're going to do next. All right. Let's see here. CJ says, yes. Wait, Montenegro says series parallel is a weird one. Why you say that, man? Okay. Joe Tyson, amps are current. 1 amp is You're going technical on me, Joe. I can't handle that. CJ, yes, it is wired into the house, but what happens when the power is out? They're in the dark, just like the neighbors. Those two systems will allow them to store power for those outages, right? Yeah, you don't get power if you're wired into it all turns off. But does it the Tesla Powerwall does something where it switches, right? I'm pretty sure they have to have something in the EcoFlow Delta Pro dip. I'm looking forward to Will getting that EcoFlow Pro. I can appreciate that you still didn't want it because it's in that like Kickstarter phase. All right. Man, everything is talking to Will. I keep buying gens too weak for more than phones. Oh, are they? That's unfortunate. I just had to grow up, man. I was like, I told my wife, I gotta grow up and buy a real power station and stop playing around with incrementalism. So, we all have to at some point if we want to get serious about actually being able to power stuff in our house. Stacy says Hobotech mentioned the B230 battery can be added to the EB240. Do you know how that's done? He did mention that. So you're going to have to buy that adapter. That I don't understand how it works. Hobotech's information, because I was like working and the kids were around, I couldn't take it all in. But how I look at it is that device has a barrel plug on the end, it seems. So then that would allow you to use, I'm guessing, something from the external battery, then to convert it to that barrel plug and then plug that into your device and charge it. That's what I think is happening, Stacy. Will says, as long as you don't exceed the max input voltage VOC limit, then you're probably good to go. If you have more than two strings in parallel, may need MC4 inline fuse. Man, I hate that you say that. Armand, one of the viewers who hangs out, he was talking about that like a couple weeks ago. I was going to ignore it, but I think he talked about how the panels say on them a 15 amp limit or something. So when you get up to 15 amps, you may have to do an MC4 inline fuse. And I was just like, I want to ignore that. I'm going to ignore that. But I don't think I'm going to get the 15 amp limit. I should stick right at 10 amps. Will says, I was hoping it would catch fire. I used my AC200 Max and the B3 expansion batteries this morning, and it actually worked. Oh, wow. That's cool, because they're not supposed to work. I think I'm going to pass on the AC200 Max and wait for the 0.0 Helios. Somebody mentioned that earlier. I don't know anything about it. 0.0 is the company that makes the Titan, right? Stacy says, thank you. I kind of thought that. Gotta go. Thanks for stopping by, Brother Will. Good to see you. Overall, the AC200 Max for $16.99 is a good price, Asus Tech is saying, if you can get it. Yeah, I think it is. They have no competition. Hobotech also talked about that. I mentioned it in the last live last night. Like, Bluetti is only competing with themselves at this point, because nobody, that's like, I'm not going to buy a Delta Max with the lithium ion NMC batteries in it. I'm not going to do that. It's the same. It's not the same debacle because the Delta Max has some very real limitations. I look at it as it's just an update to the EcoFlow Delta, and I never liked that one. Alpha, I don't think Will's still here. It says, does the AC300 Max have a battery in a unit? Oh, no, it doesn't. It's just, you have to buy that and the battery. I was confused about that initially. Armand actually cleared that up for me, I believe. That's why whenever you look at the price of the AC300, that top portion is never separate from the battery. So you have to get at least that in one battery. CJ says, check the website specs again. I promise you it's in there. It is there. Dean says, no, they are bundled. Right. You have to buy them together. Asus, instead of buying the extra batteries, I will watch the AC200P prices and buy that unit. Alpha, that sucks for all the money they want for it. Not really, Alpha. I mean, it's a 3,000 watt battery. It's not a good deal, that's for sure. I think you're paying for their tech forward thinking, because I mean it's $1 a watt. I'm not into that. Then it said you'd be surprised how much power it takes to run your essential equipment in a blackout. 2,000 watt hours is not enough. That is true for a 24-hour run, at least not for my situation. It's not enough for most situations. You got to really get down to your core needs. That's why when people say, you have to think about your needs, because someone came into the live and was like, I want to spend $600. And one of the responses was, I understand it, but it was like, well, you need to think about your needs, calculate what you need to use. And I was just like, man, if you're gonna get serious about your needs, 9 times out of 10, you're not gonna spend $600. Your needs are not gonna be able to be satiated by $600 worth of equipment. You're gonna have to spend 2 grand or more to really cover your needs. Because the nighttime is long, man. You know what I mean? It's like that's 12 hot hours that you got to deal with trying to power what? What you gonna power? Hey, MJ. Dean says he means that the battery is included in the price. That's right. That's why they're always together. The AC300 is always on top of at least one of those batteries because you have to buy them together. Ban Everything says, I'm very leery of paying a huge sum of money on a unit that could fail and I'd have no way to repair it. I had the money to buy this. Are you saying I had the money to buy this thing, but I'm buying other prepping gear instead? That's interesting. I dig that. You also understand your needs. You know what I mean? So you got quite a little army over there to kind of check yourself out to make sure that you're good. And it's like, man, if the lights go out, you gotta buckle down. You can't be out here just living the dream. When our lights went out that night, I got flashlights for days. I turned on a lamp, a fan, and we weren't even watching TV. We were just hanging out in the living room with the kids. If I wanted to watch TV, I probably would have pulled in my 32-inch TV instead of powering my 50-watt, 50 some odd inch TCL. My 32-inch TCL uses about 15 watts. The 50-inch, if I put it on the darkest setting with power save mode enable, it uses 25. But it's like, man, I want the power to last for as long as possible. So 15 watts it is. And it's a fine, fine situation, 32 inches. That's what's up. MJ says she's trying to catch up. Heather says, I heard Harbor Freight 24-volt panels should be wired in parallel. I need a good controller either way. On to 2 parallel batteries to inline fuse onto inverter. That is above my pay grade, Heather. I kind of understand it just enough, as they say, to be dangerous. I don't know. I mean, I don't know why it doesn't have to be in parallel. It just depends on what kind of controller you're hooking it up to. Keeping it in parallel does keep the, actually, no, it doesn't. Parallel bumps your amps up, but 2 panels going up in amps, that's not terribly bad. But if you kept putting stuff in parallel, the amps start to get high and then you start to need like heavier gauge cable. Asus Tech says, I'm going to buy the max bundle with the 3 200-watt solar panels as my first purchase. Why would you buy portable, like folding solar panels for such a big device? I'm curious about that. I thought about the folding panels too. Like if you could bundle it with like one solar panel, one folding panel, and it came out to be what I expect those panels to be, which is $2 per watt hour. That's about the most I can tolerate, and that's a bit much. I would entertain that only in theory, not in practice. But I thought about it. I definitely thought about it. So I'll look for your response, Asus. I saw Jason Noy's comment talking about batteries and stuff. That just went right over my head. I'm gonna play it because I just like to support the channel, but I don't care. I got super cheap 100 amp hour LiPo building Build coming soon. 1,300 watt hours for $450 or less. Yeah, yeah, man. That which is interesting because now that I'm in a space where even in just this space, I'm willing to spend more money. Like building my own system is more feasible than it was when I was like $300, $500 to be good and get some solar was my thing. It's like now that you got $1,700 possibly coming out of my pocket plus tax. Building a system kind of seems appealing, but I'm not because what's that gonna do for me? For me, not for y'all. Carrie says yes. Point zero makes the Titan. I know MJ says she saw Hobotech and Will did a video at the same time early in the morning too. That was cool. It certainly was like, oh, really? I don't have to make this decision alone. Well, thank you, gentlemen. MJ, were you around when Will was here? Will was in here for a second. You want the portability of the panels, but why? Your device is not portable. I'm not. I'm not knocking it. I don't. Forgive me for that hostility, but 60 pounds and portable panels seems a bit interesting. It's an interesting pairing, but I don't know what your situation is. You could be looking to drive around the country or something like that. I want the portability of the pen. Okay, I read that already. I know this. Blah 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 blah. I used one of my Bluetti EV7s to power my sister's giant TV during a power outage. Yeah, okay, that I dig it. I'm going small TV during a power outage. I mean, my TV doesn't use much power though. I see people talking about Samsung TVs and stuff like that, saying they use like 100 some odd watts. That's a lot of power. MJ said she missed it. Dang, he was around here. I have two other power units, also EB70 on the way. Also, okay, cool. I'm trying to understand the lore of portable. Okay, I get what you're saying. So you have other units. Can those units use those ports? Is that what you're getting at? I know the EB70 will. Hey, Kimbers, what's happening? Kimbers, I don't know if you were on the last live. My apologies. I confused you with Kimberjack one day. So I'm sorry for that. I'm mindful of it, so I might as well apologize. I didn't see a comment from Gemini. Oh, okay. The Hobgoblin MDE. That's what threw me off. Hobgoblin MDE, the Max sound like old, but Will brought me back to reality. Wait till they work out the bugs. Oh, okay. I dig it. HSG, hey man, I hardly ever comment a lot, but I wanted to come by and to let you know that I love your videos and I appreciate your perspective and help for newer people to solar. Man, thank you, HSG. I appreciate that. I just tried to make a channel that I couldn't find when I was into solar. Camping in glory. That's funny. Okay. Thanks for answering that, CJ. Thank you for that, Kimbers. Very gracious of you. So I imagine that after this, oh look, it's the missus. Is she upset with me? She's smiling.
Only 30 minutes, huh?
Has it been 30 minutes?
What time did you start?
I don't know. I haven't been paying attention. Has it been longer?
Well, if you don't know when you started, how am I supposed to know?
I don't track by time. I usually look in the upper deck. 49 minutes. This is my wife, Mrs. Richards.
Hey, y'all. Good evening.
Y'all affectionately know her as Mrs. Ask Ive, which is weird patriarchy set up by the man.
I hate to wake you up. I know you don't hate to wake me up.
I don't know if y'all can hear her, but she's talking about me waking her up. I did hate to wake you up. I did. Hey, Mama. Was she sleeping?
She's ready to go.
Hey, there you go. I don't know, something or another. I was apologizing to Kimbers. HSG said he doesn't comment a lot, but he appreciates the video. Wayne, painful talking about foldable panels. Yeah, foldable panels they're tough. They're tough. They're tough. They just cost so much.
Cost, not the
And it's cost and usefulness to me. Like I don't need a panel that as soon as it rains I gotta run out there and grab. I'm not into that. It does rain here a lot though, right? Yes, really. Huh? Yeah, who wants to do that? It's like even if you have to run outside once, it's like that's inconvenient. Linda, listen. That's what Wayne said. I feel like do not reveal any particulars about Brother Way.
No, I won't.
Say hello and keep it tight. Okay. MJ says, okay, I'm testing to get my EB70. I have a 7-watt lamp plugged in and I'm at 80-ish after 2 hours. Really? What's going on with you testing with this EB70? I feel like I need you to put like 50 watts on the dip, 70 watts on the dip, and just you have a watt meter and just like let's just test it. Let's just test it and be done. Dean B says I can relate. I'm struggling decided on the unit best for my apartment living and on the road. Maybe this 70 for your apartment and on the road. That's a good scenario. Which in those scenarios, it makes you kind of see the benefit of why Jackery sells so many units, because even though you only get 500 cycles to 80%, it's still so much lighter.
Hey, Dominique. I just saw hey.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I still need to see it too. Yeah, the EV70, it's like, I don't know, that's tough. Like lightweight versus longevity. Somebody always says, and I don't quite agree with this, but there is some truth to that. They say, Hobotech has said this, but people in the lives and the comments have said, by the time you get to the point where you're down to 80%, you're probably going to want another device. I don't necessarily agree with that logic for me personally. Listen, I have a Galaxy S7 that I still use. The battery is starting to cause me some problems because I feel like it don't last long. We don't buy new cars. We don't buy a lot of cars, period. But it's like I want to keep my stuff. So longevity is important to me. But if you're like lease the car, update your phone every 2 years kind of person, then yeah, longevity might not be important to you. If you're going to have a Jackery and then once you get a new one, you're going to relegate it to something in the corner because you like to spend that coin, then yeah, you get whatever you want. What? Oh, see, this is what I'm talking about. You just need to stop. A whole bunch of people say hello. Gary says when the screen went out on Will and brick the AC. I don't think bricked is a serious term. It didn't brick it. Well, I guess it did. He couldn't do anything with it. So you're right. It bricked it for a moment. Bricked in the cell phone game is like you have to actually do something to bring that thing back to life. When it's bricked, it's literally a brick. That's like a wrap until you do something to restore it. So I got you. Forgive me. Who are you talking to, Mama? She is our friendliest kid. Don't think she just loves me all that great, y'all. She smile at everybody. She is super friendly. What's up, Kevin? I'm on the fence on the AC200 Max. I may try for the discounted unit, and if I don't get it, no biggie. Wasn't meant to be. Another deal will come along, like the Costco EcoFlow joint. I dig that. I'm in agreement with that. I hope I get it, but if I don't, it's okay. It'll suck, but it's okay. Van Everything says hi. Jason Noy, how do you send a message with the super chat? Anywho, for the missus. How do you send a message with the super chat? I've never actually, have I done it? I've done it to get my channel reviewed by Roberto Blake one time. I think down here at the bottom, there's like a little $sign. I'm gonna start putting all the see, I don't know if it's against YouTube's rules to put your Cash App in your video description, or your Venmo or your PayPal. I don't think it is. I've seen like buy me a beer and Hobotech stuff, but Hobotech got 100,000 subscribers. So you can't be out here trying to be like the dude with 100,000. And then you got like, in my mind, I was like, you got them 3,000 funky subscribers, but y'all not, that's not personal. I'm talking about how they look at my people, not how I view y'all. But I don't know. But I'm gonna start putting it somewhere around here. Thanks, Dean. You did. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I don't drink beer, but I love burgers. So I love burgers, man. I wish there was a buy me a burger. There's a buy me a coffee and buy me a beer. Like, give me some grub, fam. I'm looking. I'm looking for that. I'm into it. Montenegro said, "Hey, I'm a funky subscriber and proud." Oh, Alpha is saying no. He's seen Kevin Samuels do it. That's interesting. I never thought I would hear Kevin Samuels' name in one of my lives. Alpha Hoss.
Oh man, Kevin Samuels.
Gary.
Yes, that's what I'm thinking. You get my man.
Buy wifey a slushie. Charge her, man.
Yes.
Charge.
I'm gonna send them down to, and that speedway is not that bad. It's not bad.
It's not. I said that.
Oh, did you?
I just said it's busy.
Oh,
It's busy.
About the type of people that be there, and they normal, they regular.
Nah, man. They be questionable.
No, they're not questionable.
They be questionable. And Pittsburgh needs an intervention. They're just putting out all our personal information.
Listen, y'all, he's from New Orleans. Both pre and post Katrina.
Straight thuggery. Straight thuggery. I don't pull no punches. New Orleans, y'all be careful when you go down there. It's real. I don't pull no punches. I keep it a buck on everybody. Y'all need an intervention. I say that since the minute I stepped foot on this soil. Kimber says Hobotech just reviewed the match. Yeah, he did this morning. Ain't no just about it, Kimber. That was way long time ago. She said he just reviewed it. Montenegro, thank you, sir. I'm assuming, sir. Yeah, I'm going off of your screen. Listen, do me a favor. If you're in the chat, just identify gender. What do they say? What's the happening word for gender yourself, please?
If you subscribe,
however you want to.
Yeah.
We gonna walk away from that one. Okay. Dean says, I would love the 200 max, of course, but maybe overkill on needs and wallet. Just need someone to tell me what to get. It depends on your needs, man. Drop some information. I'll do my best to help.
Yeah, I want to say, if you skip past the question, send you an email. Didn't mean to do it.
2%. I don't understand the context of that. I knew I should have had more. More what? Oh, MJ said her granddaughter is loving your baby girl.
Oh, nice. How old is your grandbaby?
How old is your granddaughter, MJ? Jason Oy, there should be. What's up, Byron? What's happening? Good to see you. Montenegro says, I love the Harbor Freight panels. I get about 85 watts. It's like I hope somebody love them.
That's the first time I heard that.
He cut the SAEs, Lead Former 73. He cut the SAEs off and put MC4s on. There you go, male, female. There you go. I'll do okay. I was laughing at gender identification. Hey, show me your papers. Where's your vaccination papers? I need to see them. If you are from a hood, you can move anywhere. Yeah, that's true. Oh,
exactly.
Dominique says she's a native Pittsburgher.
Get out of here.
She probably ain't here no more. I bet you that. Description, blah 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 blah. Am I really though?
Yeah, but she's from the bird.
Oh, that's okay.
I mean, that's how I was when I wasn't here.
Who cares? Thug life. You can link Patreon channel.
What part of Pittsburgh were you from?
Don't be revealing all your information either.
I'm not.
I'm just saying, you loose with it.
Oh, the fact that I'm from a certain side of
whatever, man. Just relax, man. Hey, yo, you need to relax, man.
I'm interested. When people are from Pittsburgh, I want to know what part of Pittsburgh so I can start with
female, male, her, female. Grow it, eat it. Female. I wouldn't have pegged that.
What?
Grow it, eat it. Female, woman. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I would not have.
Sounds female.
You think so?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I see why you would be sure.
CJ, I picked up on the fact that you mentioned the husband, but you know how that goes.
All woman.
Who said that?
That's right. CJ.
Oh, CJ.
At Loyola. Me too.
Basu says, hey, watch it. Babies, I only had one. MJ, she'll be 7 this month. MJ said her granddaughter's 7. What? Montenegro, I don't want to do that. Byron, I get the distinct feeling that you balling over there. You said something else that made me feel like you was balling. So good luck to you, sir. He says he wants to get.
She's on the east side.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we're thinking about going over there. Well, I am.
See, that's what I'm saying. You gotta stop. You gotta stop. Stop.
It's not.
What's the
like
Transformers? It's like Judy. Judy, stop.
All right, Eastside, that's cool.
Ban everything. What? I'm popped up on pain meds and forgot my coffee again. Be right back, I think. Hey, you take it easy over there, ban everything.
What do you say?
At 2%, blah, blah, blah. Good for you. Byron, that discount is tempting. It's like, man, 1,700. You can't. You can beat that, honestly. You can. If you think about, this is how I process things. If you think about Hobotech's video, he got 16 some odd 100 watt hours out of his device during testing. So typically what we do is we say $1 per advertised or rated watt hour. We don't necessarily do $1 per a cost per actual watt hour. But if you go off of Hobotech's testing, then he got about $1 per watt hour, real watt hours, which is interesting. Dean says, I watch your videos. You crack me up with the buyer's remorse, brother. I can relate, but it's my first live. Oh, man, happy to have you. Sha Brown says, what do you think about the EcoFlow Max? I looked at it during the process of trying to decide on the AC200. I went back and went through the EB150, the EB240, the original Delta, the Delta Max, and all of them kind of came up short. So we got the aroma on the back porch of the medicinal. You know what I mean?
It ain't medicinal.
Yeah, that's true. Recreational. Boom. So I don't find myself impressed by it. The watt hour capacity, I feel like it's kind of questionable. For the price, it costs the same amount as the AC200 Max at pre-order. It's gonna go up $400. So I would just try to get the AC200 Max, and I wouldn't ever buy a Delta Max. I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think so. I'd have to think about that. Would I ever buy a Delta Max if it went on sale for like $13.99 or $12.99 or something like that? I'd have to really think about that. Heather says she is a cute child. Thank you.
I'll take credit for that. Why CJ hate Atlanta?
Why do you hate Atlanta, CJ?
Or why did she?
Why did you hate Atlanta? I was born and raised in Chicago, moved to Atlanta with my hubby for 7 years and hated it. So we are now back up in north in my kind of town. So yeah, I feel like she didn't want all that crowd.
She didn't say that. Did she say that?
I'm deducing. She moved to Atlanta with her hubby for 7 years and hated it. So we are now back up north in my kind of town.
That could be cold. She likes a cold town.
That could be
mixed, maybe.
Just solve it for us, CJ, because this woman.
We about to go into the rabbit hole.
What's going on, Beats?
You'll stay on sober. I'll keep the sidebar conversation going.
Asus also will fall with the fall of Afghanistan. The country is a big producer of rare earth elements, and these battery prices are not going to get cheaper. China is trying to move into the country to mine. That stuff is so interesting.
Wow, really?
The geopolitics. They also look like they are out of space. EcoFlow's new products. Okay. What do you think? I watch your videos. What's she trying to do? Climb? Uh-oh. Oh, geez. I was looking at your baby and saying, I wish I had more than one. Oh, I got you. That's interesting.
Your baby wish too. Watch. How old is her kid?
Mrs. Queen says, hey, wifey, y'all, I have to go playing with my hubby, SS Impala. He likes cars, and my phone about to die. But he was listening with me this time. What's going on, my man? Salute to you. I'm trying to get your wife to go in on YouTube. So y'all figure it out.
Oh, that's
Mrs. Queen.
With the inspirational motivation.
Yeah. Hobotech coupon. Sure. Go ahead. Y'all use Hobotech's coupon. Have at it. He saved you a whole $10. I was looking at that. Because he didn't know how much it was gonna be. He was like, they asked me, they said they would give me a coupon and that it would be worth it for you guys, and it's just like $10. But hey, you saved $10, right? I'm not gonna go through all of that just to save $10. And by all of that, I mean like clicking a link, putting in this coupon code. It's just like, I don't know. I'm weird. I saw JSSR. Instead of getting the B230, I might be better off adding an EB240 to feed my AC200P. That's interesting. That's my kind of thought, JSSR. I would get more usable battery for $14.99. Yeah, 2.4. Would you though? I think the 240 has a better output on its whatever. It like gives off more of its power. I hope so. Kimber says it's all confusing to me, but I am understanding more and more. This electrical stuff is wild. I've been living on YouTube. May try doing my own solar system instead of just using a power station. That's interesting. I feel like true. If it's not pressing for you, then yeah, keep learning and then build your own stuff. It's like I can't have wires and stuff hanging around with my kiddos, or I'd have to relegate it to the basement, and I don't necessarily want to do that because my basement is not all that welcoming and kid friendly either. So I would think about something like my garage maybe, or maybe that back room would be a good solar thing, but it can kind of get wet in there sometimes. I don't think it has been getting wet lately. We had our porch redone. Okay, my wife was right. CJ at Loyola said I did not like Atlanta because of the heat and the way everything is spread out. You have to drive everywhere. I dig that. And I grew up in a city where I ride the subway every day and walk to the grocery store. I dig that. Beat says, were you misplaced or displaced due to Hurricane Katrina? I was. I evacuated before the action kind of went down. Yeah, I barely missed all the celebrations. all the foolery. My father, he called me one day because I didn't watch the news then. I don't watch the news now. He was like, Ivan, what you gonna do about the storm? And I was like, what storm? And he was like, boy, if you don't turn on the TV. I turned on the TV and I saw just a storm as big as the Gulf of Mexico. So I hit my man up and was like, yo, we need to evacuate, fam. And we got on the road. My wife likes to say I was homeless during that time. She likes to sensationalize it. It's just like, whatever.
Sensationalized. I think you keep minimizing it. Like you had a duffel bag with whatever you packed, and that was all you owned. You didn't have nothing to go back home to. Your house was flooded. Well, you were homeless. You were staying in the. He was sleeping in the floor.
I feel like I was not without a home. My home was still there. It was underwater, but I was not homeless.
You were homeless.
My house did not get washed away with the storm.
You couldn't inhabit it.
So
you couldn't go home.
You're saying if you have to get out of your house for a few days, if we have to evacuate this house for a few days, we homeless?
Because it's flooded? Yes.
What if so the basement is flooded or whatever?
No, the whole house was flooded.
I just don't buy into it.
Was your whole house flooded?
Yeah, for the most part. Yeah. I didn't feel homeless. Welcome back. Okay. Home is where the heart is, so one can never be homeless, bro. I don't know about that, Alpha. I don't know about that. Alpha Hearts.
No, I mean I get that. I get that too.
Okay, Dean has a follow-up to his comment about not knowing what to buy, just needing something small. He says, all I have is the usual couple phones, laptop, iPad, portable fridge, Bouge 20, and a TV and a microwave, toaster, Wi-Fi. The 70 would be good enough. During the sun, yeah. And then it's like, man, at the end of the day, you lose power for a few hours, you lose power for the night, you'll be fine. The EB70 get you through. You can't use that microwave with it, and you can't use that toaster with it, and your portable fridge will be fine. So yeah, EB70 is probably a good choice. But I don't know, did you say, Dean, you were trying to do something with your car too, or was that Asus? MJ says, I actually agree with Will about the Bluetti. Watching folks after the first 1,000 use and review it, waiting for improvements. I guess 3 to 6 months. Okay, so let's play that out, MJ and co. Let's say you wait the 3 to 6 months for a bunch of people to get it. The dip will probably be, let's just be optimistic. Let's say it's $19.99 at that point. Knowing Bluetti, you'll probably have a new device released in like month 8 or month 12, if not at month 6. So I feel like that's a game one could play, see how it goes, but you'd end up not buying it. You'd end up not having it. And that, if that's fine, that's fine. Have you considered trying to harbor freight panels? No, I'm not going to consider trying to harbor freight panels. I'm over 100 watt panels. That's one. I don't think highly of Harbor Freight stuff. That's 2. It has an SAE plug on the end, which is just ridiculous. That's 3. And if you want to connect it to other stuff, they sell a kit to connect it. That's 4. The only benefit to the Harbor Freight panels is that you could walk into a store and get them. That's really it. But then you got that stupid SAE connector, and then you got to disconnect it. Or LED had a SAE adapter that switched to polarity, and then you could do SAE to MC4. And it's like, man, I don't have time for all that. Or I don't want to have time for all that. Dominique, wife is always right. That is false. Charlie Murphy, wrong. Got a lot to take down the trash. Y'all have a good evening. All right, you too, 2%, if I caught you. Alpha says, I'd be scared just because of the alligators in the water everywhere. I guess so. I don't know if there was many alligators down there. I'm not sure. Not in New Orleans. We didn't see a whole lot of alligators down there.
Oh, within the city.
Right. Did you recommend what I hate when the chat moves like that. Muriel Tillman says, did you recommend the AC200 Max? I try not to recommend products to you guys. I just talk about stuff and you guys can kind of deduce what you may. But I'm going to try and buy the AC200 Max. It's hard to recommend stuff for people because I don't know what your needs are. But I'm not, of all the cautionary tales, I felt comfortable with what Will and Hobotech had to say about it. Ive, you are not winning. Mrs. Ive, I got you. Yeah, that just means you're racist and sexist and fascist and Marxist. That's racism, sexism. That's eroticism. What movie is that from?
Girl power.
If you can't eat, sleep, or go to the bathroom, you're homeless. That's interesting. But I could eat and sleep and go to the bathroom.
In that place. In that home.
I didn't feel homeless. Let's go with that.
Explain that, please. How did you not feel homeless? Like because you still had a shell of a house somewhere?
Y'all forgive me because we're talking about this homeless thing. Let's just air this out a little bit. Let's realistically look at no point did I not have anywhere to stay. Let's say, I guess I look at it like if you have to have work done to your house, even if it's from flooding, you may be out of that house for a long time, but you are not homeless. Like you have a home. It's just what do they say? Uninhabitable. Thank you. I just thought that house is still there to this day. You know what I mean? It's like.
But that wasn't the situation. In the moment.
I see you, JSSR.
And for how long? Okay, go ahead.
I looked at one of Hobotech's old videos and he said the EB240 had 2,000 usable watt hours. And David Paz tested it and got in the upper 1,900 watts. So it might be worth a try. You think so? I guess compared to, that's the thing. We don't know what the capacity is of those external batteries. Those external batteries are also LiFePO. So you save a $200. We find ourselves back in the EcoFlow Pro versus the EB70 conversation again. One is 500 cycles to 80%. One is 2,000 cycles to 80%. So if you save $200-300 buying the EB240 versus getting the B230 or the B300, then is it worth it? That's a choice you're going to have to say. Yvette says, for you, homelessness is a state of mind. I guess, but it's also a state of my home still being there. I couldn't sleep in it. I guess homelessness is a state of the time. Like if I was to me, homelessness is I had to sleep on the street. I did not have a place to call home. I did not have a shelter over my head. I had to sleep under a bridge. I had to sleep on the ground. I had to sleep on a park bench.
You don't have your own residence.
So people who drive around in cars, I don't think they call themselves homeless either. They have some other phrase for people who live in their cars. But anyway.
It depends on how they view that. The people who have had to live in their cars, they consider themselves homeless and have to live in their cars.
Montenegro says, Googling Charlie Murphy. That is interesting. Where are you from, Montenegro?
He's from...
And then how old are you? Charlie Murphy has passed. He's Eddie Murphy's little brother.
Oh, yeah, he did pass.
Ban Everything says the Cajuns ate all the gators in New Orleans hundreds of years ago. I don't even know if that's a joke. That might not be a joke. What time does the Bluetti go live? It's 10 p.m. 10 p.m. Eastern, which is where I am. 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time or whatever it is. Somebody's calling you. Bluetti makes their customers happy and sad. You get a great product. Stacks. Hey, what's happening, brother? I miss you. You slipped by us. Dell over here distracting me. Thank you for the super chat. Super chat.
Oh, that's for kids.
For the kids. She keeping tabs.
Yeah, like, I'm waiting for him. He gotta send that money to the kids and put it in their stash.
They ain't gonna never see it.
Thank you.
These kids are at a deficit. They running a deficit around here. CJ says, I'm with you. 100-watt panels are not my cup of tea, especially when you consider the need to over panel. Best to buy a 200-watt panel and get every drop of solar energy. It's ultimately just a form factor. It's less rail, so it's heavy. It's not as heavy. And it's just one panel to move around. If you get two of them, then it's just two panels to move around instead of four. Just, it makes perfect sense. And the cost of it is not that much different. If you could get a Renogy 100-watt panel for $97 or $103, then you might as well get a 200-watt panel for $190, $170 with the HQST, $220 for the rich solar, which I'm not a fan of. I love the panel. I'm not a fan of that extra $20. They wildin'. But somebody did tell me last time I talked about it that Hobotech had a coupon for the rich solar 200-watt. Okay. Sax, man, look, listen. I appreciate you, brother. I saw you last time. You say, "Hey, yo, don't have people thinking I'm nice," or something like that. What was it? Kevin, thank you, man. I appreciate it. Oh, Charlie was Eddie's older brother. Rest in peace to one of the funniest dudes ever. Okay, I got you. Y'all should watch the video of Eddie Murphy doing his Charlie Murphy impression. Thank you, Yvette, for the family. I'm a part of the family, so that works. Thank you so much. Okay. Hey, Ann. I'm with Will. Wait till they get the kinks out. That's a lot of money, even with the discount. They have the ability to get the kinks out through firmware. And so why wait to spend an extra $400 when you could, one, have the device, two, get the device fixed through firmware? It's the same thing as the EcoFlow River. It had some quirks. They fixed them. Why wait? Black Plumber says Harbor Freight sells the adapters there. It's like, yeah, but I still got to pay for them. It's like that panel's $100, right? And then the kit's like $12. It's like I could get two HQST panels for $80 a pop with MC4 connectors. The math just doesn't work. Okay, somebody's Alpha Hoss says may as well return the favor and eat them gators. They've been eating people for centuries. Yeah, okay, we'll show that one. I mean, you asterisked out the profanity, the expletive. MJ says gator is good though. I've never had it. I may have had it at Bobby Hebert's, but they could have been lying. Latirius Johnson, man, you are a beta male simp. It's embarrassing being a black man. Why do you have your wife there? We black men need help. I'm going to show that. Oh, Latirius, you are a funny guy, girl. Van living. I agree, right, Kevin Link? That's funny that people come in here saying stuff like that. This is the second time I've seen a comment like that. My understanding, Latirius, is that even if I am a beta male, there's nothing necessarily wrong with being a beta male. I saw it explained to me that Obama is an example of a beta male, like chill, calm, laid back. Snoop would be an example of a beta male. So it's like, you know, whatever, man. You know what I mean? You feel how you feel. I'm head of this household, no matter how you feel about it. You know, thug life. All right. One Mind Solution. What's up from Baton Rouge? One Mind, can you let me know how you feel about this? Because I feel like New Orleans is a very distinct city. Do you feel like New Orleans and Baton Rouge are very distinct cities? Do you feel like Baton Rouge is kind of like different as well? And okay, I did not know that. I don't know everything. Stop talking to me like that. I did something against the solar law. I think you're just being touchy. I hope I wasn't talking to you in any particular way. Dave Chappelle show with Charlie Murphy, Darkness. All right, all right, all right, all right, all right. Is Lorenzo Lamas still around? What's up, Eddie T? Eddie T, you said something last live that I missed, and I wish I didn't miss it. I was watching the live, and I was like, oh, I missed that, man. I forgot what you said. So just to recap, the AC200 Max, I am gonna try and buy tonight. I wish she was here. Dang it. Maybe she'll come back. My wife was giving me a little bit of grief about it. I guess when it comes down to actually spending that coin, she's starting to get a little interesting about it. Alpha says, they're confusing your calm and cool for beta, but calm still waters run deep. Yeah, it's like, man, people feel how they feel. People are weirdos, man. It just is what it is. Once you come to understand that, it's like I didn't block the message. I'll let that message live. Oh boy feels how he feels. He's probably not still around. My wife being here probably offended something very deep in him. And that's okay. Do I say cheap? So I said, what are you saying? He probably is, but he could not be. I don't like to like paint with broad brushes. Those dudes, man, who be wilding, they be finding super submissive women to run all over and walk all over. So Kevin says so-called betas run the world. Alphas punch each other in the UFC. That's funny. Yeah, man, whatever. I am who I am. I make no apologies for it. And I'm not going to pretend to be something I'm not. Okay, yeah. I was saying the AC200 Max, I'm going to try and buy it tonight. I am cool with, I have enough power stations to be okay if that dip. I don't know if I want to say that, because if it comes, depending on the issue, let's say I wake up one morning, I have 600 watts panels of solar plugged into it and the screen is frozen. That would suck. I don't want to minimize that. But they have like 3 to 5 weeks to figure that out. And what Will having said it, I'm sure they're going to figure it out. And if they can't figure it out on all of them, it's going to be a very small percentage. And I'm sure Bluetti will do what they need to do to address the issue. That's interesting, CJ. CJ talks about alphas and betas being behind the alpha, and then betas lining up to become the new alpha. That's interesting. It's all interesting. I don't get into it. I'm in this group and they talk about it sometimes. Don't get me wrong. I am not a fan of, we've talked about this before, this idea of happy wife, happy life, and the dude just kind of being like a go along, get along, just allowing his wife to like run shop and all that jazz. It's just like, I'm not a fan of that. And I guess that's what people feel betas are, because they're not as aggressive and as, bring me my dinner, woman. Okay, he says you are sick. I'm definitely not gonna allow that one to ride. But Latarius, you can have your opinion. Eddie T says this, my screen froze. It's going back. I dig that. It's hurricane season. Those storms travel. You have a young family, so go for it, man. What are you talking about? Oh, okay. I got you. Muriel, got to get a couple moderators in here to put a chill on that unnecessary rhetoric. The rest of us are here to get that good info. Yeah. I thought about a couple moderators. The only thing is I'm not as heavy-handed as some people may be. So I have to choose wisely, I suppose. Ban everything. That's pretty much how the story goes, sir. That's pretty much how the story goes. James says he will watch. You watched Will today. Past tense, or you watched him at some point? Like, what are you saying? Oh, I watched Will today. Will put the AC Max through the paces. Yeah, this video is about both of those videos from both Hobotech and Will. Yeah. I don't know what that's about, Kevin. Man, the mosquitoes is out like, what is this? All right. Anybody have any questions? Anybody have any questions? We had an hour and a half. We're going to wrap up soon. Blood Gaze, what's happening, man? Good to see you. Man, I am black and want to succeed. Where can I make a donation? Why do you want to make a donation, Latarius? Is my wife going to take it from me? I don't understand. I'm confused now. Happy wife, happy life goes both ways. I've been married for 31 years. I should know she's not happy if he's not happy, I guess. But the sentiment behind, we've had this conversation with my wife around before. The sentiment behind happy wife, happy life and how it's implemented is that you better make sure that woman's happy. And it's like almost you do whatever you got to do to make sure she's happy. I don't like the idea. I feel like those dudes who be like talking like that, they seem like kind of soft. MJ, my home girl. It's like that goes along with this idea that the wife is always right, and just these preconceived notions that we carry into it. I know we speak about it playfully, but that stuff has a lineage. You know what I mean? It has what do they call it? A wake, like the boat wake. It has a trail, and yeah, you know what I mean. I'm not into that. Alpha says, I was ready to put that coin on the AC300, but learning it has no battery, I will default to the 200 max. I was thinking that too. The AC300, I thought I liked it because it seems smaller, but you have to have it with the battery, and it's not light. The dip is 44 pounds, the top portion, and the battery is 77 pounds. It's like, geez. And Gary asks, what do you think about the poor efficiency of the AC200 Max as measured by Hobotech? I'm not happy about it. I wouldn't use the word poor. But maybe you could. I feel like poor would be like 75 or something like that, where it's just like, it's ridiculous. And says, believe me, that's not real life. Either way, good luck. You'll do the right thing. Great show as always. Thank you, Ulysses. I appreciate that. I don't know, man. All right, let's think about it like this. So it has an 80% efficiency, right? If you get a lithium ion battery, that dip is going to drop 80% after 500 cycles. I would say at least with the LiPo, I'm just musing here. I don't know if this is I know it's not a flushed out thought. At least LiPo will give you that power for longer. So, I don't know. But if you compare it to something else and something else bangs, like he talked about the EcoFlow Delta Pro getting like 90% efficiency. I don't know. I'm mainly getting it for the inverter. The problem is, I think that Bluetti doesn't have any competition in that price range, but itself. I wish the inverter efficiency was better, but Will got 88% out of it. And he's a big fan of doing it at like a 2C rate. I don't know what rate Hobotech does his tests at. I always watch his stuff from my phone. So maybe I need to watch it from a big screen so I can actually see what's on that little DC tester that he uses to see what kind of draw he's pulling. I don't necessarily understand what 2C means. I haven't committed myself to do that. I think it's like a maybe 20%. So Ahaya, my AC200P is tripping with being hooked to the 30 amp RV30 amp. It keeps throwing out a fault code with only running my AC and my RV. I'm a little upset with it. Is it your RV's AC? Because my understanding is that RV ACs are woefully inefficient and they probably use a lot of power. And that initial draw is probably too high for it. I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't have that experience, but what I deduce from videos that I've watched is that could be the case. They call that a pensive face. Gary says 0.2C is 20%. I just connected that in my brain while thinking about it. I thought 2C was so tough. What's up, buddy?
Where's my phone?
I don't know. Does Saya have his phone? Ask mommy to give you the tablet or something else. We can figure it out. I don't know where your phone is though. And I don't know how to say your name. It's Ahaya. I don't know how you're gonna check into that. You're probably gonna have to look into the information based on your AC and see what its max. You want to say hi?
Hi.
What's wrong, buddy?
I just mommy make me take a break and I wanted to.
You wanted to take a break on your own?
Yeah.
Yeah, but you didn't. So we have to teach you how to take a break.
I wanted you to see some Monster Jam.
You're only taking a break. Your screen time is not done, okay?
Okay.
You're taking a break. After your break is over and daddy's done, I'm going to be wrapping up soon. You'll have time to show me the Monster Jam, okay?
Okay.
All right, go head back downstairs. Thank you for saying hello to them. No phone until you are in high school when you get a summer job to pay for. Yeah, the phones don't have service, so prepare and set apart. Hello, how are you doing? I am fine, prepared and set apart. How are you? Did I miss anyone's question? Okay, another interesting thing about that Ahaya, hmm, I don't think the AC200P has a 30 amp joint because I've heard people talk about the AC Max now having a 30 amp dip. So maybe it's only 20 amps. But I understand you're not saying that. I guess you're not saying that your AC uses 30 amps, but you're just plugging it into your RV's 30 amp plug. Okay. I'm sorry. But still, yeah, you have to check that power draw. Eddie T, 10 to 12% loss doesn't hurt my feelings. I plan to run my house, and the major draw will be the fridge. I don't plan on jacking 100% of my power every day. That's a very good point. I guess it's not necessarily about how much power you plan to draw, but how much power you have available to you. But yeah, that's a good point. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. There are no other solutions. Not at the $1,700 mark and barely at the $2,000 mark. That EcoFlow Kickstarter price is long gone. So what else are you gonna buy? How efficient is the EcoFlow Delta Max? And even if it is 90%, I don't know if it is. It's only like 1,600 watts anyway, or something like that. I don't even feel like looking it up because I don't care. But I just know it doesn't compete. I have the tab up. Well, actually, I'm on my janky computer, so I can't look it up. A Bluetti EB70 with 2,500 charge cycles to 80% means you can charge and discharge it. Okay, y'all can read that. Ooh, Kevin says stream tonight to let us know if you score. I'll probably make a community post. That'll be after 10. My kids have pretty late bedtimes. That's usually right when I'm in the thick of putting them down to bed. So it would have to be late. But maybe we'll see. Bloodgate says the AC200P has a 12 volt, 25 amp plug via aviation port. Hey, Darlene, thanks for coming. We wrapping it up in a second. We talked about the AC300 Max and Will Prowse's and Hobotech's review of those units and whether or not that swayed me. It did not. They both liked the device. Will had a problem with the screen turning off. I mean, you could watch the video. Will Prowse, that is. And he had a problem with the batteries. I don't plan to buy the batteries, so I wasn't as concerned. Hobotech's review was largely good. Latarius Johnson, I have the 200p and an Eco Max. Don't buy it, build your own. I did. Horrible efficiency. That's interesting that you kind of normalized, Latarius. What was the stuff about earlier? Hey, Kathy, thank you. They swayed me. I was all about the Delta. They swayed you which way, Eddie T? Towards it or away from it? I guess towards it, since you say you were all about the Delta. The Go Labs is working. I don't have it right now because I wanted to make sure I have power because this laptop's battery is toast. It doesn't last long at all, and I didn't trust the Go Labs to power it. Hey, welcome back. Thank you, Kathy. I don't want to skate over that too fast. I appreciate your generosity. Okay. One Mind Solution says Baton Rouge and New Orleans, night and day. Baton Rouge is a country city, but New Orleans is a whole state by itself. See, that's a person who knows what they're talking about. I tell people that all the time. Like, New Orleans is not like Louisiana. It's its own thing. Like, yeah, anyway. That's my city, just can't live there. I salute you on that. I will never go back unless God tells me. Oh, you guys can follow me on Facebook if you're interested. I don't do a whole lot over there, but I do post like clips and stuff every now and then. I'm trying to build up YouTube, and you kind of want to focus on one thing at a time before you divert your attention. I'm also on Instagram. I will probably I post more on Facebook than I do on Instagram, but I need to kind of build those up a little bit. Uh, Darlene Ransom, has any of your viewers thought about pooling money and buying land to start their own community? Nah, nah, I can't really see that, man. That's tough. Dean, all right, good luck to all trying to win the Max Lottery tonight. Thanks for hanging out, Dean. I appreciate you. Prepared and set apart question: what power banks solar panel is best for apartments? Please. Um, I can't answer that question, but I did look at a solar panel that could be good for apartments. I made a video about it. You should check it out. I don't know. Apartments are tough. Do you have a sun-facing window or a balcony or anything like that? But I don't know that it's any different from a home in terms of what device you could get, because power is power. That's just how are you going to get power into that device while in an apartment if the grid goes down, if you lose power? I promise you, every time I'm on a live, somebody calls me. You got to put that do not disturb on. That'll take care of all of that. Kevin says us introverts ain't starting no commune. Yeah, my family, and says, goes to New Orleans every year. I live in Mississippi. They only come to my house when they're tired. My home is Long Island, but most of my family is in Philly. I won't be making many videos until I get moved into my trailer. Okay, man, I dig it. Do you drive, ban everything? CJ asks, have you noticed that the specs on the AC300 mention wind energy? Bluetti has more surprises in the pipeline. Yeah, I don't care about wind energy, but that's cool, I guess, for people who have that availability. Somebody asked me about that in some capacity, maybe a Facebook message or something like that, and I just feel like I I take on the opinion of Will Will Prowse, and it's like wind has moving parts. So that means I'd have to repair it or get it repaired, and I don't know how much that stuff costs and all that jazz. So I'm good with solar. If that says I feel the same about New York, I dig that. That makes sense too. Oh, I'm also on Telegram, guys. I like Telegram. It's a messaging app. It's kind of privacy focused, but doesn't check all the boxes. So if you want to chat there, hit me up there. You can message me on Instagram, DM me, and you can message me on Facebook. You can also, huh? That's too much. I mean, I think people use different platforms. Some people don't rock with Facebook.
It's like, if y'all want to get me, y'all get me this one way. That's it.
I don't mind. I'm a communications person though, so it's like, what was I saying before my wife? Thank you for that, Alpha. Alpha says 2 hours and 10 minutes.
Really?
No. He's talking about till the estimated time for the AC200 Max, but it's probably 2 hours that I've been on here. 144. Okay. Let's see. I got you, ban everything. Scott, they have bladeless wind turbines now, though. That's like the bladeless Tyson. I mean, that thing's probably 5 times more expensive. I am decided on the AC200 Max plug gauge. I'm going to try to get it. If I don't, oh well. I'll probably just do it in the meantime purchase to put solar at the front of my house. But I'm not pressed on that either because I want solar to come into the front of my house. So I'll have to either bore out a hole that's already drilled and try to get cables into there with the MC4 connectors being taken off. So until I'm ready to kind of do that, I was talking to Wayne today. I could use another like 500 watt hour capacity device. Oh, this company is sending me one. It's not a 500 watt hour. It's a smaller one. I made a post about it today. I'm looking forward to talking about that one. I'm going to save all my thoughts for whenever I make that video. Stack says, stop tripping, man. You being a hater. He didn't say that. He said, tell her to quit tripping. Don't be a hater. You. Joe Tyson says, yeah, I'm not on Facebook. I avoid as much as possible. I dig that. Plug gauge, final answer. I'm going to try and buy it. Facebook is wild, babe. You watch The Social Dilemma?
Oh, yeah. I thought it was because of like people.
Oh, wow.
What?
He just said, blood ban everything, said his truck was stolen and cops wouldn't do anything because it was taken across state lines.
What? That doesn't make sense.
Blessed Chody. Make your wife a moderator. She don't be on these lives.
Yeah. I won't be consistent.
Yeah, she don't be out here in these streets.
I hang out talking about all kind of other stuff.
I've been here on your lives, just hanging out in the bushes, not commenting. Thanks for being here. I appreciate it. Since Wifey is back, you can comment on the coin hesitancy. Gary is trying to stir up trouble. I see you, Gary. I was talking about you being hesitant about them coins I have to drop.
Yeah.
Gary like, nah, y'all talk about it. I won't hear y'all talk about it. I already have an EB70, CJ. I have an EB70. I have an EcoFlow River Max now, which is cool. I like that thing. That thing is heavy. I'm going to do a short about it. I'm going to try and do a short. I don't know if I'm going to do it this weekend, but I'll probably record it and then post it Monday. One mind, you're right. Don't be laughing, Gary. You trying to start trouble. He just laughing. Yeah, he did. They both have more positive. Hobotech said Bluetti knocked it out of the park. Will said that the AC200P, the AC200 Max, or one of them said the AC200 Max is what the P should have been. And I agree with that. It's a very incremental upgrade, but it's some very key upgrades. The 60 watt PD port goes up to 100 watts now. You can put a single solar panel on it. It has an app to control it now, which is cool. And it's Bluetooth. I like that you don't need an account to access it. What else can that dip do? It has that RV stuff on it, but I don't know enough about that for it to matter to me. Okay. CJ says, I know you do, but you said you need another unit. So I did. I was talking to Wayne about that. The R600 is the best mid-range portable power station, in my opinion. The real R600, or are you talking about the River? Because you can't get the R600 anymore unless you find somebody who has one. I happen to know somebody who has one. I trust Will before, I'm going to read it. I trust Will before Hobo. Maybe we can talk about why someday. We should talk about that. I'm curious. I can kind of deduce why.
I didn't know that.
Really? Oh, you giving me that?
Yeah, me and Ivan are going to go for a walk. Go get your shoes on. So you're going to have to wrap up now.
Okay.
Baby. And then I got the camera up for the boys on their phones. I don't know if they're going to want to come.
Alpha says, I have lives, a chill where you could kick back. Wait, where did it go? Jeez, I lost it. You could chill back with wine or your adult beverage of choice and chill while being educated. I dig that.
That's cool.
Um,
Until when I come out.
SK used to say that. He said early on in my videos, he's always been very supportive. I don't think I've ever seen him in the lives. I don't know where he is though, but he says that whenever he watches a video of mine, he puts a pot on or something, and he just like kicks back and knows he's gonna enjoy himself, and it's gonna be like to the point and good money. Oh, so CJ, I thought about that EB55. I will only buy the EB55 at like the 349 price, which you can get sometimes in the group. And I don't even know if I would spend that much on it. I would probably want to get it for like 299. But the reason why I like it is because it has the XT60 connector. So I could interchange it right in the zone where my EcoFlow is. Up until this point, EcoFlow has been the only power stations that use the XT60 connector. So I like options. I weigh all of that stuff when I'm thinking about it. Like my Wackery, that company still hasn't gotten back to me about that whole situation, and they haven't gotten back to the dude who I bought it from. Um, hey, Kimberjack. The Wackery, which is the chiffon YW500, I call it the Wackery because it's a fake Jackery and it's trash basically. But the DC still works on it, and it's a 500 watt hour capacity battery. So I use that as a power dump. I bought it for that reason. So when an AC failed, it sucked, but it's still serving the purpose that I serve. It has an 8 millimeter input. The reason why that's important is if I ever needed to pull my EB70 up from the basement during the sun days, the sun part of the day, I can put that one down there and not miss out on that 200 watts of solar. That stuff, that all that strategy plays into, I take all of that into account. Okay, I see you one in one. I want to see if I mixed anything above you. I took my EcoFlow River Max to the beach a few weeks ago. It did amazing. It was like having a fully powered condo on a beach day. We went to the beach. I didn't bring a power station with us, but my wife got one of those beach half tents. That changed going to the beach for me. All I needed was some power, but I'm there with the family and stuff like that, so I wasn't going to be all about that. But not being in the direct sun and having a place to sit down and relax, y'all should look into those beach tents. We have a specific one that she likes. She bought two. One was really easy to put up. The other one was a little more complex. If you're interested, let me know. Maybe I'll make a post about it or something. I don't know how to get it to you, but maybe I'll put it in the comments of this video, the description of this video. All right. One in one. I have $5,000 to spend. What should I get? I have a freezer, very efficient. $5,000, man. I'd have to think about that. Some other people may be able to help you. $5,000 is a lot of coin. If you only have one floor and you don't need to move something around, I would keep my eye on that EcoFlow Delta Pro. That's like the king of the hill for me. It just was too much money. I was not in the mood to spend $2,000. I didn't even fathom it. But I thought about it today. It's like, man, now that I'm in a space where I'm about to spend $1,700, did I miss out on getting that EcoFlow Pro? And I don't know, because it's heavy and I have 3 floors. So I have to put it somewhere and it'd have to stay there. And I don't live my life that way. Eddie T says, Will is always more forthcoming about the coins. I dig that. Do 8-gauge wire charge a power station faster than 10-gauge wire? Wire as far from the solar panel to the... No, it doesn't charge it faster. The bigger the gauge of the cable, depending on how much power you're pushing through it, gives it more space and less resistance, and you don't lose power through heat. And I'm quoting somebody who told me that in this live. It was probably like Blood Gauge or somebody. Eddie T, what do you plan on running off of the 200 max? If I put it down in my basement, it's going to run my deep freezer and my mini fridge. I also have a dehumidifier down there that it's going to run. If I put it on my main floor, it will kind of be a waste because I can't plug my fridge into it because my fridge is in a nook and I'm not going to move it. but even that would probably only be like 200 watts. I don't really use a lot of power. The main reason why I'm getting it is because, I would run an AC from it. During summer months, it probably will live on my top floor if it can power my air conditioner. That's even if it can power my air conditioner in my kid's room, um, which is a smaller one. So that's kind of what I would run off of it. I want to have all of my comforts and entertainment run off of solar. That's my goal. One mind solution. Do you feel like I answered that? One in one. I thought about the EcoFlow too. I have one floor. Just put it on. Put any. Just put any large one on wheels. There's not too many large ones you can get. Honestly, the Titan is always sold out. Um, and it's an old battery chemistry. The Delta Pro is the king of the hill. You ready? You sure? Or you say they all want to go? All right. Okay. Well, I got a few more minutes till my baby hangs up. So whatever questions till my baby wakes up, whatever questions you guys have, hit me with them. James says the EB500. Has anybody who bought it gotten it? I feel like there's some questions around people getting it. The EB500 is an interesting device too. That's for sure. Alpha says, and you don't burn your house down running large power through smaller gauges of wire. That's a good point. You too, Darlene. One mind that says yes. Thanks, Kevin. I want it to be portable. The EB, the Delta Dip is portable. It's just heavy. We'll see how it goes. I'll definitely try to let you guys know how it goes for sure. I'll make a post about it on the community tab. All right, guys, I think this is a good moment to wrap it up. I appreciate you guys very much. Yeah, I do. Thank y'all for hanging out. Thank y'all for being a chill bunch. I'll figure out some moderators. But I just got to figure out how people can go easy. MRT Pig says, I can't wait to receive my Delta Pro and extra smart battery. I've already installed my ground mount 1000 watts of solar. I'm using this system in my van. I'm also using this system in my van to power it as well. Okay, interesting. Yeah, I'm going to do this. The chat will live for a little bit. I'll hang out and kind of answer anything if I need to. Thank you guys who gave to the super chat. If any of you guys want to give any other way, the ways that I have available are in my about page. So it'll be youtube.com/askgodsolar/about. I have Cash App, Venmo. I just appreciate people saying thanks. And some people don't necessarily like that YouTube takes a cut. So I dig it. Either way it works for me. Appreciate you guys. Have a good night. Dominique, cheers to you. I'm out. Oh, that cheers to you is because you're in the city that I'm in.